What's up? What's up? I want to tell a vampire story. Um, One time, one of my homeboys, he was telling me, he say, man, my wife finna go out of town for a couple of days with a job. I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do. He was just joking. He was like, I don't know what the hell I'm gonna do while she gone. So I told him, I was like, well, whatever you do, just do the right thing, man. Don't be fucked up out here in the game. You know what I mean? So, we was just tripping about it. So I didn't see him for about a week or two. And when we got back up, or he was telling me about it, he said, yeah, man, let me tell you some crazy shit. I said, what's up, man? So he was like, man, my old lady was leaving or whatever. He was like, man, I had dropped off at the airport. You know what I mean? Kissed her goodbye. He was like, man, as soon as I was leaving out the airport, my damn phone rung. And he was like, it was a number I ain't know. So I'm like, hello? He said, oh, girl was on the other line. No, man, give me a second. So he was like, oh, girl. Like, hello, hey, how you doing? So he was like, what? He was like, who was this? So such and such, such and such. So he was like, what's up, what's up, And he said he was kind of surprised because, for one, like, the hell you called my phone for? And two, like, damn, what if you'd called goddamn 15 minutes ago? You know what I mean? So he say he tripping like, what in the hell? And so I was like, well, shit, how'd she get your number? And he was like, well, man, shit, I done had the same number for a long ass time. So, my number's still the same or whatever. So whatever. So I said, well, what she want, man? He was like, well, at first, she was just calling, talking small talk, like, hey, how you doing? How the family going? He said they friends on Facebook, so I guess, they pretty much relevant of each other family status. So, hey, how you doing? How you doing? Such and such. So he said, at the same time, he feel like, well, okay, I ain't, this innocent. I don't know what's up. So they talking. And then she pretty much was like, well, I've been going through something. She was saying her husband had got caught up cheating and shit, and she was going through something trying to deal with that. And long story short, she was reaching back out to him like, shit, what's up? Like, she trying to fuck up and get even in a sense. So he like, man, I'm tripping, He said she started saying shit like, I'm trying to give you some of this pussy. What's up? Talking wild to him. And he was like, the shit started feeling his ego. The shit felt good to his ego. And he tripping like, this shit crazy. Now here I am, damn, fucking just dropped my wife off. He like, you know what I'm saying? And now this temptation coming at me. He said he thinking he on Candid Camera or some shit. Like, man, y'all fucking with me. But anyway, so he was like, man, he talked to her, entertaining for a bit till he got where he was going, and was pretty much left it in the air like, well, shit, all right. So, I'm like, boy, you was about to goddamn fuck up, wasn't you? We tripping or whatever. He like, nah, you know what I mean? The shit felt good, I ain't gonna lie. He's like, I felt goddamn like I was goddamn in the devil's playground talking to her or whatever. But anyway, so he was like, next couple of days, other words, he ain't fuck with her. He did the right thing. That's why we could talk about it in the way we was talking about it. You know what I mean? But he was like, man, I made it through. He was like, when his old lady got back, he felt good about himself. Like, man, he ain't fuck up. Temptation came his way. But he was saying his ego got so wrapped up into just another woman telling him, goddamn, I want that dick and I want you to fuck the shit out of me, all this and that type of shit. He was like, man, I ain't gonna lie, that my damn ego was tripping, man. My ego was like, hell yeah, motherfucker, you still the man, motherfucker want you. So his mind was just racing on the shit like in a temptation type way. And he was saying when his old lady got back, goddamn, he was hitting his old lady or whatever, and the motherfucker was coming in his mind, and he like, man, I'm tripping. So the point he was making, he was like, man, that shit fucked me up, man, cause it was like, even though I knew I wasn't gonna do it, a part of me was just raging and temptation. He was like, man, I don't know, man, that shit was fucking me up. So I told him, I was like, well, that was a vampire. He was like, what you mean? I say, you know, when you understand what the story, a vampire story is about, you can see how it worked. And most vampire stories are about misery, love, company. You infecting somebody else with a pain or a type of, you know what I mean, hardship you had. So just based off the simple fact that she was married, had a family, was somewhat pure in her family. And he was telling me, like, from her persona, I guess from social media, you would never imagine she was the type of woman that would be on that type of path or be on the other end of that phone call. So he was kind of surprised, you know what I mean? So it was like, but she had that purity in her family, and now her husband got caught up in temptation or whatever and done hurt her. So her husband represented like a vampire bite that bit her and made her feel tainted. Now she had that fire in her eyes to want to get even. So I told him, I say, now like you, I say, you a hell of a man. Everybody see your glow associated with your family. I say, you got it going on, man. I say, so you got that glow, and that glow represents a sense of purity. And so, and when a man got that sense of purity, you understand what I'm saying? It's like he becomes subject to a fuck up. You see what I'm saying? So when a woman got that vengeance of revenge in her heart for her man, she looks for a fuck up to say, well, you don't value me, so I'm going to show you I can go fuck somebody that's more than you. So when you a real man who got a real live glow, you always subject to a fuck up from a woman. You see what I'm saying? So I say, she just saw that purity and wanted to touch like, well, I got an old fuck ass man, so I'm going to cheat with a real motherfucking man, right? But what she don't understand is she carrying that bite because she's been bit. I say, now here you is. I say, like he was telling me, he was like, man, it was fucking me up because me and my woman, we in a good place, man. Like, you know, we ain't got no issues. And it's like, I'm tripping, like this temptation could fuck everything up. So I say, I was telling him, I say, see, that's the point. You see what I'm saying? Now, here you is in your purity. Now, here you is, you got a vampire who see your purity, and now they want to bite you. Just like in a vampire movie, you know, they got to find somebody who's pure to be bit. So I say, now just imagine if you wasn't strong or real enough to understand what's real to you, and you fall victim to that temptation, and now you done got bit by her, you hitting her, now it done turned into something that's on a regular, and now your old lady started to pick up on it and realize you fucking over. And I ain't saying that this cycle gonna continue, but it do continue. Some women might not get revenge like that, but even if they feel that hurt, they still turn into a vampire in some sense, you know. But it could be, now your family fucked up, now your wife a vampire, y'all two vampires. Now your wife might not cheat, but she might turn around and start biting the kids or biting other people around to her. Now you got a systematic, almost domino effect of misery, love, company, everybody biting somebody. You see what I'm saying? So we tripped about it, man, and we stood in his strength, and you know, it felt good that we could talk about it to say, boy, this shit real out here, man. And if you ain't real with this shit, like I say, man, you subject to get bit by all type of things that comes at you because your purity and your glow shows, you know what I mean? The light attract all things, man. So, you know, I say this a vampire story because that's basically the point of what every vampire movie is, you know. And when you break down a vampire movie, if you saw one, you saw them all. There's always subduction, because there's always subduction in a love story, because in a vampire movie, the most vulnerable position somebody can get is on the neck. You see what I'm saying? So that comes with seduction and vulnerability. So nothing makes you more vulnerable than emotional type of love type of thing. So, or sex or things like that. So that's why you always see that in the story. Every vampire story associated with the light. They can't stand light, the silver bullet, the cross. You know what I mean? Once you get the point of it all, you can write it and see it in everything. But you know, I hope you get something out of this story, man. I guess it's about temptation and purity. You know what I mean? When you standing on something real and you got something real, it creates a light that glows out of you, and that light attracts a lot of pain and suffering, because you know misery love company, and ain't no company like you bringing somebody into a world, into your world that had, you know what I mean, that's kind of under your narrative. So always protect your neck. And that woman who he was talking about, whoever she was, you know, when I say she was a vampire in the nature and the context of how it worked. But I'm pretty sure she was just a hurt sister, you know what I mean, that didn't know how to emotionally deal with betrayal. But at the same time, so you got to realize you got a lot of hurt women from that same circumstance, in that same situation. And just like she didn't realize that she was a vampire, she going at a married man who's being real to his woman, based off her pain. Now just say if he wasn't strong as he was and he'd have indulged in that. See, all she would have done was created another bitter woman who gonna say men ain't shit, who gonna say all these type of things, and gonna carry that venom of a scorned black woman that can be perceived as a vampire. And she can bite her kids, she can bite a whole lot of things. So women, it's a deep message in this to realize that, you know, I give you if you want to say men ain't shit, but they need a foundation and a catalyst to not be shit. So be cautious of how you perpetuate the very same thing that victimized you. You know, don't turn another sister's romance story into a horror story because yours turned into a horror story. And men, be real enough to understand and realize when you put in situations that could be moments that fuck up your whole foundation. They say a powerful man is one who can resist the things he desire to protect the ones he love. So, you know, we all got desires and deal with temptation in all different type of ways, and ain't nobody above the bullshit. But you must be able to understand when bullshit is bullshit and rise above it. I love you.